Hello and welcome to Creating the Life You Love, How to Live a Spiritual Life in a 3D Reality. I'm your host, Valeria Bruno, and this is the space where you will find the tools for your personal and spiritual development, so you can live a fulfilled life in the magnificence of your being. And this is also a space where we can openly talk about science, spirituality, and even go beyond. My welcome guest today is Julieanne Conard. Hi, Julieanne. It's a real pleasure to have you here.
Hey, it's so great to be with you.
So I would like to introduce you to the audience by reading your bio and by providing some information about the Stargate. Julieanne has been part of the Stargate experience since 2012, when she discovered a strong connection with both the Stargate and Alcazar, whom she also channels. Originally intending to study alternative medicine, now she's fully dedicated to the pursuit of personal transformation and rapid self-healing through the high vibrational frequencies of the Stargate experience. With the guidance of Alcazar, Julieanne has developed a new form of energetic self-healing known as the essence of life. And for who does not know about the Stargate is an interdimensional doorway that facilitates healing on all levels, DNA reactivation, and the awareness of one's quantum self. The Stargate is one of the leading-edge devices that can assist in the rapid expansion of human consciousness, and it is a brilliant delivery system for our evolution, effective by simply creating multiple levels of vibrations and frequencies. The energies of the Stargate can create past life remembering and reactivation of psychic abilities. It can enable participants to access wisdom and knowledge from other dimensional realities, and to actually feel and in some cases see benevolent and high energy beings, such as those from the angelic realm, ascended masters, star families, and beings that exist in other dimensional realities. So this was so nice to read, because already I felt the energy. Julieanne, I would like to start by sharing with the audience your life process. So you intended to be a physician, an alternative medicine physician, but then you became a channel, a guide, and a healer. Can you share the process in your life, please?
Yeah, I would love to. So my father is actually a physician. He's an anesthesiologist. And ever since I was a little kid, actually, when I was like 3 or 4 years old, my mom, we were just like cuddled up and she asked me, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I looked at her and I said, "I'm going to do what dad does, but I'm going to heal people. Like I'm gonna work in the same area that dad does, but I'm gonna heal people." So ever since I was little, I had this really strong feeling that almost like I should be able to surround my energy around living things and bring them into balance. Like I intuitively felt that. But of course, I grew up in a really normal family, and that wasn't really
Yeah, me too.
so yeah, that didn't really translate from the 3-year-old's world into the real world. So fast forward many years, and I studied at the University of California, Santa Cruz. I studied molecular biology, and I was really into yoga and qigong, but channeling or metaphysics wasn't really part of my reality until I met a 15-year-old girl who could see auras. And she became friends with me because she liked my aura. And I was very flattered. So to make a long story short, she ended up bringing over a documentary called The Healing Matrix. And it opened with the story of Eric Pearl's reconnective healing. And he talked about this little 5-year-old boy in Greece who he worked on for 3 or 4 minutes with reconnective healing energies. And the little boy had cerebral palsy. So like he had to like, you know, scoot downstairs backwards, and he had trouble walking. And the story goes that the little boy, after 3 or 4 minutes, they get interrupted because the seminar hall needs to be shut down. And the little boy jumps up and he runs up the stairs. And his parents are like, no, what's happening? And the little boy says, no, I can do this now. And I saw that opening and I just got this feeling, this is real. I'm going to go learn it, just totally intuitively. And a friend of mine actually lent me the money to go do this reconnective healing seminar. And I remember the first day of the seminar sitting there and suddenly realizing like, this better be real, because I just paid like all this money to just take this seminar. It's not like I like found a healer and then tried it out. I was just like, but it was like, absolutely. And the incredible thing is like, you just had to be in the room, in the seminar room, and the healing capabilities worked by transference. So it's as if just by being a human being, you have a candle, and your candle gets lit by these higher dimensional energies. So that was my introduction to metaphysics. And at that point, I was still planning to study osteopathic medicine. Essentially, my plan was to study, you know, from the physical level, healing on all levels. So I always wanted to study healing on all levels. And this was just opening to this incredible potential. And I remember I actually worked with a doctor who just happened to partner up with me in that seminar. And he had like acid reflux that day. He ate a bunch of junk food, I guess. And after my very first time with these like healing energies working on him, his acid reflux went away. And I remember he asked me, are you going to do this for a living? Because this is going to be your career. And I looked at him and I was like, this isn't my career. I had no idea. But 2 weeks later, I found the Stargate. I just happened to find it online. And it mentioned using high vibrational energies for meditation. And that's what really got me interested. Because in this reconnective healing seminar, I remember how amazing these multidimensional energies felt. And the first time I received the healing, it felt to me like intuitively, it felt like I was surrounded by angels. And the angels weren't part of my worldview at the time, but I was like, I think these are angels. And it felt like they were whispering in my ear in this really funny way. They were telling me like with this lightness that like life isn't so serious, or that like specifically that like life is like a joke, but in a really good way. It's very hard to really put that into words, but it's as if like on the spiritual path, you start to learn that like you could see our humanness as almost like an avatar for our super consciousness, which is the true self. So it was kind of like they were like whispering in my ear, like everything that's ever happened to you in your life is just like a blink of an eye. That's what it felt like. So that's a longer intro than I usually give.
And if I remember correctly, you were born in the same year that the Stargate arrived to the planet.
I was.
The connection was already established.
Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of that aspect of the story, there's so much synchronicity with, so the Stargate is this structure behind me. And as you read in the bio, it's an interdimensional doorway. So this sacred geometry has the ability to bring through an energy field. But the whole purpose of the Stargate is to assist in the rapid expansion of human consciousness. So this structure is here acting as this incredible receiver and transmitter of multidimensional energetics. Okay, so as you described in the bio that you read, the Stargate is an interdimensional doorway. And so the geometry of the Stargate actually anchors a higher dimensional consciousness, which sounds like science fiction until you experience it. Actually, all of the Stargate sounds like science fiction, really. And the beauty of it is that it's experiential. If this wasn't something that you could experience, I for sure wouldn't be doing it right now. But almost everyone who actually wants to have an experience with the Stargate will end up, just by relaxing into this energy field, they'll have this really profound sense of their sensitivity being enhanced. So for me, as I was saying, I wasn't planning to go into this field of becoming a channeler for sure. It just happened, but it happened in an interesting way because, as you mentioned, like, I was born in 1989. That's the year that Prageet brought through the Stargate when he was living on Maui. And and there's all this other synchronicity, but really for me, the knowledge that I would end up doing this work came in a flash. So I found the Stargate online by accident. Yeah. And I decided to come to an evening, and it was like this small gathering with like maybe 8 or 9 people in a living room in California, about an hour's drive from where I actually was born. So there's another synchronicity. Prageet created the Stargate in 1989, traveled the entire world with it, and ended up settling down 30 minutes by car from where I was born. So this evening, I arrived and I opened the door, and there's a 6-foot tall, like, so 2-meter Stargate in the living room. And I opened the door, and it's like, it felt like it tipped my head back, and I was like, okay, so something's real, something's gonna happen here. And I was walking down the hallway, and I saw Prageet's face for the first time. And I actually expected him to be like an Indian guy because of his name. But he's this like very white British man. And as soon as I saw his face, I had this feeling like deja vu. And it felt like my whole life was about to change. I was going to travel all over the world, and it would be the greatest adventure I've ever been on. So this all came just in this like flash, and it felt like I was remembering the future. And I was 23 years old at the time. Like, it was completely unexpected, and it felt so benevolent. Like, it felt so good that this smile popped on my face, and I was like, okay, we'll see what happens. I hadn't even experienced it yet at that point.
Yeah, I think that the experience is common because I was in the Cryon entourage, and you came, and I called my friend, there is something we have to do, we must do, because I feel the energy, I want to go, and they are coming to Italy. It was 2016. And so Julieanne is the only guest that I personally met because I had the privilege to work in presence with the Stargate, and I was not sure about going because I do not like to meditate. I say, if I was going to meditate, I would have lived in India. So I said, I'm Western countries, I don't feel like meditating. And we arrived there, and Alcazar was saying, just relax, there is nothing to do. So I said, oh, I have not to meditate, I have just to feel And I remember that was life-changing because he gave us 3 information I will never forget. The first, that everyone in the audience was a starseed. So everything I knew inside was confirmed. The second information he gave us, you gave us, of course, you were channeling, it was that we already lived an ascended life on this planet as a human being. And we had this experience. I could remember even my master, that was Pythagoras. So that was huge. Blowing up the mind totally. And the third, that everyone can channel, and we did this experience, and we were able to channel. We were in couples, we were channeling. So I said, okay, I found a very good tool for everything that I don't know how to do, now I can. So it was really, the first time was really amazing. Was really, even if I didn't know what who was Alcazar, what was this energy, and I also had the opportunity to stay underneath the Stargate, inside the Stargate, that is a totally different energy from having the etheric Stargate that we build generally. So Julieanne, who is Alcazar, if you can give a definition of this energy?
So for a long time, Alcazar wouldn't answer that question. He would say, what difference does it make? Feel the energy. If the energy feels good, go with it. And I didn't actually know that that question hadn't been answered. So I asked this female cryon channel who I got a chance to have a session with on Maui in the very end of 2012. And she's recognized by Lee Carroll. She's not currently working anymore, which is unfortunate because she was a brilliant. Zara first started the channel through me. And I said, I meant to say, like, why is Alcazar channeling through me? But that wouldn't have been really a good question because I know why now, right? But the question that popped out of my mouth was, who is Alcazar? And this was the response. She said, Alcazar is far more than you expect. The being Alcazar is a spokesperson for a group of universal masters. And they all merge their energy with his so that he can deliver messages. And their total focus is to assist with the awakening of humanity. So yeah, that's who Alcazar is.
Yeah, this is a strong energy. And I remember maybe once, maybe it's in your website, I was reading that even if the energy of Alcazar is separate from the consciousness of the Stargate, in a way they are fused. They are even the same. So it's something difficult, of course, for the mind to grasp. But when you feel it, you understand it with your field. So it's something that you can understand. And I would like to ask you, because I feel it as a very important tool. Alcazar suggests to be present during the meditations, and the only thing that is required is our intention and our attention. What is this and why?
So, your intention is important because we live in a free will universe.
Sure.
So spirit is not allowed to interfere. So if somebody shows up and they're wanting to be super critical and skeptical, and they just say, like, this isn't real, and they sit there with that attitude the whole time, like, the guides will respond to that and they won't really feel anything. So the Stargate work is not about proving anything to anyone. The Stargate is here for people who have that feeling inside that there is something more and that we are something more. And that's really all that's needed to have an experience. And so that's what we mean by the intention. It's the genuine intention to evolve, to expand your consciousness. And with your attention, with the Stargate meditations themselves, it's a very gentle thing. We'll prompt you at various times to ask for things, like you ask for the energy of the earth to come up into your body at the beginning of the meditation. And that's another element of intention. And then the attention is like feeling the energy of the earth. So intention and attention are also the two critical ingredients of change.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in your life, if you're wanting to change a habit, you have to have the intention, but you have to follow that up with the attention so that every time that pattern comes up, you're paying attention. Okay, here it is. This is my opportunity to choose.
Yeah, this is something that needs to be felt, and you have a community, a huge community, and also a place in which you can share experiences. And this is important because maybe at the beginning you do not feel the energy, you are not used to feel, or you think you cannot feel it. And so you can find people that are not feeling, so you feel, okay, I'm not the only one. And then you find the people who were not feeling at the beginning and now they are feeling. So it's a huge encouragement. So this possibility to share experiences, I think it's important because you do not feel you are doing the work just alone with yourself. So we have been working in this years with both the quantum field and the super consciousness. What is the quantum field and what is the super consciousness?
Good question. So the quantum field is essentially everything. And Alcazar says that this physical reality is a construct within the quantum field. So if the entire physical universe could fit into my hand like this, the quantum field would be this. So it's everywhere. And the physicist, Nassim Haramein, his work is extraordinary because he's looking at literally every atom. If you can imagine it being like a tiny wormhole that is connected to every other atom, and like not just the atoms, but also the empty space. So the entire universe is talking to itself. If you imagine the universe as like coordinates in space-time, and that the record button is always on, that's kind of like the quantum field. That's one way of thinking about it, is it's the feedback and feed forward that creates, for example, synchronicities or premonitions. So our super consciousness is the part of us that also exists outside of the physical reality. Our super consciousness is the part of us that moves from lifetime to lifetime. And what our guide Alcazar has said is, as we learn to expand our awareness, we can actually start to identify more with our super consciousness than our humanness. And when we do that, we can be a guide. Our super consciousness can actually guide our humanness.
Yes.
So these concepts, it's like you can describe them, but what's more important than trying to like grab onto an understanding with your mind is to let your mind almost like just expand into your knowingness, because we all have this knowingness that can kind of speak to us if we listen.
Yes, and also what I feel or what I felt in these years is that when you expand into your super consciousness, you start knowing your physical body more. I remember when we were doing Growing Young, I was not visual at that time, and I remember I could really feel and see myself singing, myself smiling, myself lighting up. So I had another perspective of my physical body. I felt one with it. That is strange to say, but I really felt in my body, with my body, and it was also a way that allowed me to honor my body more. So it's not just something that we can think we are getting in our fantasies. No, it's a reality. It's something that we can experience, and it's something that will make us whole as a human being should be. So for me, it's very powerful. Julieanne, before talking about the essence of life that you created, last year we did a new blueprint for humanity. So what was, because the Stargate work, it's evolving. It's evolving as humanity is evolving. So at some points, Alcazar needs to bring something that is different, that is new. So why last year there was this urge in a good way, in a good sense, to create a new blueprint of humanity?
Okay. So this is a fun question because if you follow Cryon's work, he says that humanity has actually reached advanced societies and then collapsed 4 times before this society we're in right now.
Yeah.
This is right now in advanced civilization number 5. This is the first time that essentially we're projected by spirit. They're saying the potentials show that you're going to become enlightened as an entire planetary civilization. And we could have destroyed ourselves, and Nostradamus, and there's all these different predictions that showed like basically a nuclear catastrophe. And what Cryon has said is if we had destroyed ourselves this time, it would be game over for humanity. So it's really good that we passed the marker, as Cryon says. So the question of why now?
Why now? Yes.
For the blueprint for a new humanity is what Alcazar says is humanity reached a vibrational level where we were ready to bring in a new blueprint. And to me, the most fascinating part of this is, what is a blueprint? And Cryon, for example, talks about the template of humanity, and it has to do with everything about our humanness, from how we bring in influences from our past lives, which Cryon has said, for example, like that now there's the potential for us to bring in more of the positivity, the skills, the abilities, what we've learned in our past lives that have empowered us. Instead of in the past, what has happened is we bring in more of like what has been difficult or unresolved emotional issues, or even within the body. Like, for example, when I started working with Alcazar to heal myself, one of the things that I have had since I was like 3 or 4 years old is this like muscle spasm in this one place in my back. And Alcazar told me about this story where I was a priest and I thought that God would protect me. And I ran out to confront these people who are robbing the church, and they stabbed me in the back. And like, not only that, but the knife got stuck. And so it's this this is the feeling that I had in my back. So it's fascinating. We bring through these things, and to heal that, part of what I did was essentially going back to that perspective of like, God didn't protect me, and like diffusing the energy.
Yeah.
So the new blueprint is really about evolution. So it's about us being able to bring in more of our super consciousness. And this is what Alcazar said about it. So humanity's reached this vibrational level. And as we embody this new blueprint, which is like an energetic template, we have the ability to bring forth more of our skills and abilities. Some of them are from past lives on the earth. Some of them are a part of our beingness. Yeah, and that, I'm curious about the work that you do with your soul. You do soul blueprint work, so
Yes, yes, I can read what the soul wanted to express in this lifetime through the decoding of the birth name.
wow.
Because in your birth name, by decoding it, there are some codes that are Hebrew fire letters. So it's a system that they use that is really ancient, really, really ancient. And you can read all the life that you wanted to have or what you planned before incarnating. And also the challenges that you put to solve unresolved issues from other lifetimes, and also the talents that you bring to overcome these challenges and to reach what your soul destiny wanted for you to express. So it's a very deep and ancient system that has no age. It has, some people say that this was in use even in Atlantis, but it's very, very helpful because when you do a reading, you can really tell to your client everything about their life, and especially what they do not remember, what they do not know, and what they do think they cannot achieve. So it's really, really a very, very beautiful work.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes, and I can also upgrade the blueprint. The soul blueprint, if there is something that the person cannot do by itself, herself, or himself, I can do an upgrade.
It's good to be able to change those
Yes,
settings, right?
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was wondering when and why, if I can ask, you received this essence of life.
Yeah. So I told you about this female cryon channel who I
Yes.
had a session with in late 2012. It was through her that, so I first heard about the essence of life through this cryon channel who was recognized by Lee Carroll, and it was unexpected. It's the type of session where you sit down and you don't ask any questions, the channel just comes through, and the whole session was about the essence of life. And she said, cryon said, imagine a butterfly in the palm of your hand. And use of that thing. So on some level, you know the geometry, the sound, the vibrations that make up that physical thing. But it's not until the soul breathes life that it becomes what it is. So that's what the essence of life is. It's a source energy as it moves through to animate the physical. And the way that we use it for healing is essentially for self-healing. So we all have access to it through our own energy field. And what Alcazar taught me how to do was actually amplify it and direct it to different parts of the body. Because this energy, the essence of life, it both infuses life force energy, and it also has this ability to dissolve barriers to the flow of our energy. So whether it's emotional, mental, or physical, you can bring the essence of life energy and it will start to like dissolve everything that's not truly you. So it's as if like you could imagine something that's an imbalance, like this hard, stuck energy. And then you surround it with something that's so beautiful that it just opens. That's kind of how it feels like to work with the essence. And it's not something that, it's interesting because I had that cryon channeling and then I almost kind of forgot about it. And I started working with Alcazar to heal certain impacts from my early childhood. And it was through that process of reconnecting with my inner child that suddenly Alcazar taught me how to access the essence of life.
Oh.
So it was through, yeah.
And you can learn because you taught us how to be a conduit to receive this essence of life. At the beginning, we were receiving yours, and then what you were transmitting, and then we learned how to receive it by ourselves. So it was a deep process. You also added afterwards the essence of serenity. So it was becoming a deep, always deeper and deeper and deeper. Sorry, my the alarm in my telephone today, it's some strange energy. And so I've been working with both of you and Alcazar with the inner child, because I would like to have an experience, of course, in the essence of life, but a little later on. Now we are working with the superconscious inner child. What is the evolution of this process? Why now we are working, or it's just because we evolved in the work that we can reach the superconscious inner child?
So Alcazar talked about inner child work, but didn't actually do it with people for like years and years. And he basically started to do inner child work once enough people in the Stargate community could hold the quantum field. So could hold this connection. Because the way that we work with the inner child with the Stargate is very different. It happens in the quantum field where there's no time and no space. So you can be in the same place with your inner child. And it's very, very fascinating because it's almost like you're connecting with a part of yourself, right? But it's almost like you're connecting with the inner world of this part of yourself. And the inner child can show people like with crystal clarity, detail, like their childhood home, for example. The inner child can take you to the root cause of an issue that may be bothering you right now in your adult life. Like it could be low self-esteem, and your inner child is like, okay, for that one, there's usually a lot of different facets, but your inner child can take you to one in particular. Like, okay, like this is how I felt around my father. So it's powerful healing work. And more recently, so he started doing inner child work in like, I think maybe 2013, 2014 at first with people. And like about a year ago, he brought through this other level, which is the superconscious inner child. And the superconscious inner child has always been there. but he just essentially really he identified it. Basically, there's the human part and there's the superconscious part of your inner child. The human part is the one that oftentimes has gotten hurt, who needs your love, who actually formed a lot of these like protective habits and limiting thoughts and beliefs. The superconscious inner child is the aspect of your inner child that's super connected to spirit. Because when you're a child, you've just come from beyond the veil. And on a certain level, the children remember that. But it's not really recognized very often in our societies, especially those of us who have been on the planet for 30 plus years. I think now probably parents are more likely to really acknowledge how special their kids are.
Yes, hopefully.
But it all depends. But essentially, yeah, what you're doing when you connect to your superconscious inner child is quite fascinating, because it's almost as if the inner child has more of a connection to their intuition and to spirit than you do as an adult. And so the inner child becomes this bridge to not only resolving things from your childhood, but it actually, that becomes way faster, because when you combine the human impact, which does need to be honored, right? Like we do need to like love those parts of us that were hurt. But when you combine that need to heal with the superconscious knowingness of the bigger picture of why you're on the planet, it happens much faster. Because you're bringing in the element of grace.
Yeah. And you are dividing this process in 4 parts. Can you talk about those parts?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, it's about going beyond just needing to connect with my inner child so I can heal something, which can give us a really bad attitude toward our inner child. It's like, oh, not again. So it's going way beyond that, because actually the inner child can help the adult oftentimes.
Yeah.
Because like what Alcazar said is, you become much more fixated as an adult on the things that you think you're stuck on. And the inner child can help you in the moment be like, okay, it opens the potentials. And it opens the depth of your wisdom in that moment. What's this coming from? So this series is broken into first the inner guide, and that's letting your inner child be a guide for you. Every time you connect, the most appropriate thing will come up, even if that's to cook some food and put on some music and dance while you do it. So, so the inner child can be a guide for you. And the first week is just establishing this relationship, like this felt presence. And then we move into the inner healer. So that's about the child's ability to go directly to the root cause of whatever is happening for you in the moment. And the inner child will bring up whatever's most appropriate moment by moment. So every time you connect, it's something new. And sometimes the inner child can be really sad or really upset. And other times the inner child can show up and be like really excited to be with you and want to play. So the inner healer is both able to bring through these like amazing healing energies. And the essence of life is just one example of this. It was when I connected to my inner child that I started to work with this energy. And my inner child is the one who has the ability to really expand the energy strongly. It's like a huge catalyst, because the small child understands, like almost like speaks the language of multidimensional energies. They still remember that. They can swim in that ocean. And so right now, that's where we are in the series. We're at the inner healer. Next week, we'll be exploring the inner creator. And that is the It's interesting because it's two meanings. The creator, in terms of the subconscious programming. So the inner child is the creator of your entire architecture of your subconscious, and the things that we're drawn to, and the things that the protective mechanism. So that's like Alcazar says, we create moment by moment with our vibration. So that inner child is often the one who, if we have a certain pattern that keeps showing up in our lives, they'll actually be able to show us where that pattern's coming from. But the inner creator also is the one who has the ability to create consciously. So children wake up in the morning, and unlike adults, they're not just gonna like want to repeat what happened in the last day. So it's like the enthusiasm and the excitement and the aliveness of the child, of being like, okay, let's create a vision for our lives. Like, what do we want to experience? What do we want to create? So this is the beauty of this program, is we're letting this childlike living presence within us come alive again. And we're letting it both help us dissolve things from the past, but also actively create new pathways moving forward, new pathways in the now that can assist us greatly in dissolving the old. Because when you have the option right in front of you of going down like the path you've been through a million times, where you bang your head up against a wall, or you have the option of like flying, like taking off into a new direction, it just makes it easier to change.
So if I can share what I experienced yesterday, because just yesterday we did the inner healer, it was the second day. You were facilitating a process with two ladies, and what happened, but not just in me, in the whole group that was online, our inner children were participating too. We had an experience, or was my personal experience, of the meaning of oneness, when you are really in unity consciousness. And what happened, besides the emotional participation, I cried all the time, even if the issues of the ladies were not mine or were not relating to mine, but I was crying because it was so much heart-opening to see how inner children were helping that inner child, and that inner child was providing healing when connected to the superconsciousness to all of ours. So it was amazing. I'm even chills now that I'm saying it, because we really felt as one. And our inner children were doing a great job for us without even, we didn't ask for it, we were just following the process. So it has been a recognition of how all of us are really connected, and we can heal each other at any level. So I'm waiting for next weekend, of course, and also the other one that is coming, the inner gateway. So yeah, it's a real, it's unbelievable, the level of the process, because we have been working in these past few years with our inner children, and it has been amazing. And when you couldn't get in touch with yours, another one was coming. I had this experience because the first time my inner child was 6 months old, so I didn't know how to behave. And another that was 7 years old came through and helped me with the baby. So it has been a very, very healing process for something that I felt as blockage in my life, but this is another level because you feel really in the void, in the 0 point, I don't know how to call it. You feel it really at the point of creation. It's I'm using words that can represent my feelings, and yes, it's very strong. And you used also yesterday this essence of of life, so it was very powerful because it was a preparation.
Yeah.
So can you provide an experience of this essence of life that you created?
Yeah. So, I mean, this is just the incredible thing about the inner child for me is the specificity.
Yeah.
It's like, you know that it's the 7-year-old.
Yes.
And it really blows my mind. So yeah,
Yes.
let's connect with the essence of life, and and we'll see what else wants to happen.
Yes.
So I would just invite, we'll bring my guide Alcazar through, and I just invite everyone to take a moment to close your eyes. Relax. As Alcazar often says, there is nothing to do, just to follow along with the suggestions as we move through the meditation. And so, beloved ones, we greet thee, 'tis Alcazar, and we invite each and every one of you to close the eyes if you have not already. Take a moment to go inside, scanning the body, relaxing the body. Very good. And with the gentle relaxation, you become more available to what is wishing to occur for you right here and right now. And so this process of working with the Stargate is effortless. It is a relaxation. It is an allowing. And there is nothing for the human part to do. And so we will begin this short experience by inviting each one of you to ask inside for the energy of the earth, the energy of Gaia. And so just the invitation is all that is needed. Asking inside, we call for the energy of the earth to come up into our bodies, into our energy fields. Very good. And just allowing for the possibility that the earth is indeed responding to you right now. And so now each one of you asking inside for an etheric stargate, the consciousness that is anchored within the physical structure, asking an etheric stargate to come and form around you. And so we call for the presence of an etheric stargate, and we invite you to actually visualize a stargate structure forming around you. You do not need to know exactly how it looks. You can even simply imagine a pyramid. Your intention creates. You are living in an intelligent universe. And so the etheric stargate is gently forming around each one of you now, and asking inside for your etheric stargate to activate. And so we call for the activation of all the etheric stargates. Very good. And what starts to occur is a gentle energy field begins to build in your space. Again, nothing to do, not even trying to feel the energy yet. For these energies will be building throughout this meditation. With the Stargate, there is not any sudden rushes of energy. It is a gentle building of the energy field. And so, in a few moments, we will begin to vibrate all the etheric stargates faster and faster. And as we do so, we actually move up through what you call your dimensional ranges. These are simply frequency bands of energy. And so we start this process right now, vibrating all the etheric stargates faster. And as the vibration rises, we move up through your third dimensional frequencies into the fourth dimension, and continuing to accelerate into your fifth dimension now, vibrating through the fifth into the sixth dimension, and continuing to vibrate faster and faster until we reach your seventh dimensional frequencies, where we bring all the etheric stargates to a gentle pause. And so your stargate is now vibrating at this seventh dimensional frequency. Do not try to figure out with the mind what is the seventh dimension. It is simply an energy. All of your dimensional realities are not somewhere else. They are right here in the same space. And so we ask each one of you now just to ask inside for a strong seventh dimensional energy field. We call for a strong energy field of the seventh dimension. Very good. And your stargate radiates this higher frequency to you. And as you simply relax, your own vibration gently rises until you too are harmonized with the seventh dimension. Very good. Very good. And so we continue now again to accelerate the vibration in all the etheric stargates. And so vibrating faster and faster, and we are moving up into your eighth dimensional frequencies, continuing to accelerate through your ninth dimension now, into your 10th dimensional frequencies, and vibrating quite rapidly now as we move through your 11th dimension and into your 12th dimensional frequencies, where again we bring all the etheric stargates to a gentle pause. And so your stargate is now vibrating at this 12th dimensional level. And we ask each one of you to ask inside for a strong 12th dimensional energy field. And so we call for a strong energy field of the 12th dimension. And again, nothing to do. As you simply relax into this high vibrational energetic field, your own energy field gently, gently begins to rise, to harmonize with this 12th dimensional frequency. And in the energy of the 12th dimension, you become far more sensitive to the guides, the beings who exist in these higher realms. And so we would like to introduce a few of these beings to you, these groups who exist beyond the veil. Very often the first group of guides wishing to join you are the ones known as the angelic realm. And so we ask each one of you now just to ask inside, for the presence of the angels to come to you. And so we call for the presence of the angelic realm and just feel. Here they come, each one of you, just the asking for the angels and now feeling as they respond to you. A gentle change in the energy field. Can you feel this? You can invite the angels to come closer if you wish. Come closer. Bring more of your energy here. Very good. And now we wish to introduce a few ascended masters. And we will begin with this one known as Gautama the Buddha, for he is very well known around this your beautiful earth. And so we ask each one of you just to ask inside for the presence of the Buddha. We call for the presence of Gautama the Buddha. And again, just feel a gentle shift in the energy field as the Buddha brings his presence to you. Nothing to do, just being open, just being receptive. As each of these guides bring their energy, they are building an energetic field. They bring their frequency and you can feel them. Then they merge into a oneness. And so a few more ascended masters wishing to join you. Now the one known as Saint Germain, well known for his work with the violet flame that burns away impurities, imperfections from your energy field. And so we ask each one of you to ask inside for the presence of Saint Germain. We call for the presence of the Ascended Master, Saint Germain. And again, just feel a gentle shift in the energy field as Saint Germain brings his presence to you. Very good. And there is one known as Amma. She is enlightened and she is still in the body. But because she has reached that state of enlightenment, when you call upon her, she can instantly bring her energy to you. And so we ask each one of you now just to ask inside for the presence of Amma. We call for the presence of Amma, the enlightened one, and just feel. Yes, feel this. Here she comes. And as this beautiful one has mentioned earlier in the interview, each and every one of you, without exception, have lived with enlightened ones in your past. You have all been on a spiritual path for many lifetimes. And you may say, oh, but I am just starting in this lifetime. Yes, that is true. But beloved ones, you are far more ancient than you perhaps realize even now. And so we are going to ask you in a moment to invite the presence of the enlightened masters who you have been disciples, studying, awakening, understanding, living with in your past. And so just the asking is all that is needed. You do not need to know their names. They will come to you, connect with you energetically, at the level of your consciousness, bypassing the mind. So just asking inside, we call for the presence of the enlightened ones who you have been with in the past. We call forth your enlightened masters. And now feel the energy that is coming to you. They are saying, yes, we are with you. For when a master takes a disciple, it is not just for that lifetime. It is until that disciple, that student, becomes enlightened in their own right. So if you wish, you can ask your Ascended Master to be with you in this lifetime, to assist you. Very good. And so you are now vibrating with the energy of your enlightened one, your enlightened master from the past, with the angels, the Buddha, Amma, Saint Germain. And we would like to invite a few of the star families also. So these are beings from enlightened civilizations in your universe. They have, as an entire planetary civilization, reached the state of enlightenment and continued to evolve from there. Can you imagine becoming enlightened as a society? Can you imagine continuing to ascend your energy for millennia? These beings would like to connect with you right now, and they bring a very high energy. So we ask each one of you now to invite the presence first of the Pleiadians. And so again, just asking inside, we call for the presence of the Pleiadian star family, and just feel the gentle change in the energy field, the Pleiadians bringing their presence to you. They come gently at first, for they are in high vibrational light bodies. And now you have calibrated to their energy, so you can invite them to come closer. So inviting the Pleiadians to bring even more of their energy, and just feel this. Enlightened civilizations from your stars, and the ones known as the Syrians wishing to join you, beings from the Sirius star system. And so again, just asking inside, we call for the presence of the Syrians, and just feel, here they come. A different frequency of enlightenment from your stars. Each civilization has a unique story, a unique focus, skills and abilities that they have developed. And so we would like to invite each one of you just to ask inside for all the benevolent families from your stars, or if there's one in particular you are wishing to connect with, inviting them now. And so we call forth the presence of all the benevolent star families. And now feel. Just feel this. Many, many frequencies coming into your etheric stargate right now. And so you are now basking, bathing in a high frequency ocean of energy, just relaxing into it, nothing to do. And in a few moments, we will ask this one, Julieanne, to begin transmitting these essence of life energies. Understand the essence of life is a source energy. This one, Julieanne, is bringing it through her humanness, and so you may feel these energies in a slightly different way. And indeed, they will be awakening the essence of life within you. So again, simply relaxing, being present. And just feel as this one is beginning to transmit the essence of life through the quantum field. Just relax and feel this. The essence of life, energy. And there are many levels or layers to this essence of life. We will ask this one now to begin broadcasting the second level, a different frequency of essence energy. So feel already it is coming to you. And if you wish, you can invite this energy to flow into a particular area of your body. Just the asking, the intention, almost envisioning like a magnet drawing these essence energies. You can send them to the physical body and just feel as they are flowing within your body, inviting your own essence of life energy to get stronger. Just the asking and feel your body is listening to you always. You can bring in these source energies. You can bring in super conscious energies. And so, as this one continues radiating the essence of life, we will invite each one of you to ask inside for the energy of your higher self to come to your humanness right now. So just the asking, we call for the presence of our higher selves. And now feel, yes, feel this. This is you, the real you, connecting with you, the humanness. This is your eternal self. That presence that is who you truly are. And so, beloved ones, you have had a taste of these energies. We invite you now just to feel, to relax completely and feel the energy field around you. And this one is going to send you the third level or layer of the essence of life. So just feel this. Another frequency of this essence energy. Nothing to do. Very good. And now simply bringing your awareness to your own energy field, feeling the energy within and around your physical body. And when you are ready, you can very slowly and very gently bring your awareness back into the room. Very slowly, very gently, coming back.
Thank you. Bring me more. Thank you. That was amazing energy. I just discovered that I have 5 lumbar hernias and the energy went directly there. I was not even thinking of sending it in a particular place of my body. So the second layer went there, and I felt that all my spine was strengthening, and no, it was amazing, believe me. As a physical sensation was really strong.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So I would like to ask you. I'm still a little
Me
out
too,
of-
yeah.
So my English was not coming at all. We had in these years, especially in the last 2, a connection to other realms. You bring the energy of the unicorns, Pragit, the mermaids with Symphonia, and also with the dragons. So this is, whenever they come, I feel them as a remembrance. So it's this something that we have been connected in the past, and now we are able to access again, or they are coming back. They disconnected and now they came back.
Well, in a sense, it's important to understand that the dragons and the unicorns and the mermaids, they're not just children's stories.
Sure.
They appear in many cultures all over the world. And it's because they're actually higher dimensional beings. And there was a time on the earth when they were more close with humanity, but there was also a time when humanity was more able to perceive them. So what's happened is that the kind of control mechanisms of society, like the church, basically taught people to disconnect. And because the unicorns, the dragons, are essentially spirit beings, they honor humanity's wishes and they kind of withdrew their energy. So it's a little bit of both. We're both awakening again to our ability to perceive in these other dimensions. And also because many people are inviting them, you're starting to see this resurgence of unicorn energy, for example. Like in small children are very into unicorns in the past few years. So yeah, I think it's both. I think there's a kind of an opening to other realms that's happening in general as the consciousness of humanity raises again.
Yes, and this is for me personally, it's a remembrance because I have a personal unicorn which I have since the times of Lemuria. and I have also my dragons. So it's something I'm not until now relating very much with mermaids, but mer people in general, but with the dragons and the unicorns, I feel a strong connection. I even have a light language of dragons that is very strong and very powerful. So this alignment with these other dimensions came to me through your work, through the Stargate. So I'm very grateful. Julieanne, I know that you have a free gift for the audience. Can you share, please?
Yeah, so the free gift that I wanted to share with your audience is essentially, it's a much deeper experience with the essence of life. So it's a meditation that's really focused on the essence of life, and you can use that meditation. It's a free meditation. You can use it for self-healing. So you can use it when you need to relax, or you can use it so that suddenly you have access to the essence of life all around you. And you can, like we did in this meditation, you can invite it to flow into different parts of your body, or just even to flow where it's needed. And this energy it's a quantum intelligence. And so it will actually be working with you. It will be kind of awakening the essence within you as you listen to it.
And is it also working at the DNA level?
Yeah, so it's an interesting thing. We have our physical DNA, which is quantumly entangled with what we call multidimensional DNA. And according to Alcazar, it's this multidimensional DNA is actually the spark of spirit. And so it's actually an emanation of an energy field from every molecule of DNA in our body. And it's bigger than our cell. So the DNA energy field overlaps and overlaps and overlaps. And so our total energy field is actually that DNA energy presence.
Okay.
So with all of the Stargate meditations, it's actually the reason you can feel these energies is because they're vibrating your energy field. And as your energy field vibrates, it's vibrating that multidimensional DNA, which is kind of like tuning you to it. It's sort of like a cosmic tuning fork where you're resonating with these higher frequencies. And so you start to recognize that you have the ability to access skills and abilities from beyond this lifetime. You start to realize that you can feel these multidimensional energies. So it's really, that's the awakening of the DNA is really the awakening of our ability to perceive beyond the 3D.
Yeah, because it's something you can sense with this work. So, Julieanne, I'm still out of a little spacey. I thank you very much, and I apologize for the technical problems that we had energetically. And I wish that we could meet again in presence, as we were planning to do in the other blueprint in Slovenia that unfortunately we couldn't do. And so I send you the hugest hug I can send you, and thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I'm really looking forward to being able to see you in person and give you a big hug also. It was really nice to connect with you.
Okay, thank you. So I thank you, the audience, and I say bye, and we will see each other in the next interview. Bye-bye.
Yeah, big hugs to you all too. Bye.
Bye, thank you, Julieanne.